Big success for the security forces in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. LeT top boss Abu Dujana has been gunned down by the security forces in an encounter that broke out between the terrorists and the forces in Hakripora village of Pulwama district in South Kashmir. Two terrorists of lashkar-e-taiba believed to be trapped when the cordon was laid down. In fact, the encounter started early morning when the security forces from Jammu and Kashmir Police and Rashtriya Rifles on specific input laid cordon in the area. When they were approaching the house, there was firing by the militants which resulted in the encounter. Security forces are now in the process of identifying the bodies. Shuja ul Haq, my colleague, is now joining me from Srinagar. Pooja is also joining us from the national capital. Shuja, coming to you first. Bring us up to speed with the situation on the ground. Is the encounter over? Because there were some contradictory reports about firing still on and about the stone pelting from the neighboring villages.
Well, Ankit, the operation is still on. There's the security forces still carrying out searches. They're sanitizing the area. But what we've been told is that the house in which these militants were believed to be trapped has been brought down. There is no report of gunfire, at this point of time. There is confirmation about one militant, a local boy, having been killed in this, while as the identity of the other is still being officially ascertained. However, sources suggest that the other militant could be Abu Dujana, who was lashkar-e-taiba's top commander in the entire, sector. Now, immediately after the news of this local boy having been killed in it, and also the fact that Abu Dujana has been trapped, started
back to you. Just stay on with me. I'm just coming back to you. GD Bakshi, Major General GD Bakshi is now joining us for more on this story. Major General Bakshi, big success for the security forces. Not only a message being sent across the border, if you send Pakistani terrorists, this is the fate that they are going to meet. But for the security forces, Lashkar commander who has been giving them a slip for a long time, finally meets the bullet that was meant for him.
Certainly a very creditable success, and my salute to the boys who have done it. The fact of the matter is that Abu Dujana was a very, major terrorist leader in South Kashmir. He was a divisional commander, which is the top-ranking type of terrorist. And he was heading the Lashkar-e-Taiba, an outfit which has been responsible for most of the dangerous attacks that have taken place, the Fedayeen kind of attacks that have taken place in this region. Eliminating him has been a major, major success. It just goes to show that the shelf life of terrorists in the valley is now reduced to a few months. All top terrorists are being eliminated rapidly. And it also indicates that the command and control attrition strategy adopted by the security forces to go in for the top honchos rather than killing the foot soldiers and piadas, go for the top honchos. That is a damn good strategy. I have found in my time it worked very well, gave us very good dividends, and helped to pacify the area. What we have to now focus on is population control. And for that, it is essential to demolish the Hurriyat network, which is trying to, focused on trying to generate an intifada type situation here, a Palestinian intifada type of a racket using the paid stone pelters, those who burn schools, and those who disrupt normal life. With the arrest by the NIA, the crackdown on the Hurriyat, you already find things in J&K, and I'm sure once this crackdown is completed, we will eliminate a fair amount of the chaos that has been unleashed by the Hurriyat with Pakistani support, and I'm very sorry to state, with money from some of our own intelligence agencies who have been trying to treat them as a government in waiting. They need to be clapped behind the Tihar jail. That is where they belong. And if Mehbooba Mufti resists this process or impedes this process, I think she needs to go.
General Bakshi, also, tell us about, because your experience of also operating in Jammu and Kashmir, how difficult it is, in fact, to track people like Abu Dujana. Security forces have been on him for the last few years. Of course, 10 lakh rupee reward on him. What is the kind of effect it is going to have on Lashkar-e-Taiba, a dreaded terrorist organization responsible for many terror acts in the valley?
You know, the loss of a top leader or a top honcho is a big blow to the organization. Firstly, in terms of morale, you know, it sort of demoralizes the organization. Then don't forget that these top honchos have their leadership positions because they keep all the, you know, the basic knowledge secure in their head, where the arms are hidden, who the top overground worker are, what is the Hawala channel, of how and where to receive the money, how to get the ammunition. All this is known only to this man. He dies, the knowledge dies with him. And, you know, restarting that orchestra takes a long time. It is difficult because these people, you know, nobody is willing to talk about them. Because if you are caught giving information, the penalties can be very severe. They torture such people to death, they do a lot of these things. But the fact is that the civilians are still coming out despite all this and giving accurate, actionable, pinpoint information to the security forces. That by itself is a very welcome sign. Because if the intelligence is not forthcoming, you can't do these operations. You can't keep, it becomes like searching for a needle in a haystack. And therefore we are reassured that the inflow, the critical, you know, input for such operations is intact. That is very good news indeed, and that is why you find our security forces have reduced the shelf life of all these top militant honchos to just a few months.
General Bakshi, before I let you go, my last question to you, of course, we had already, Shujaul Haq, my colleague, is reporting that stone-pelting has started near the encounter site in the villages around this area. This has been a big challenge as far as the security forces are concerned, despite the army chief's stern warning that stone-pelters would be treated as those helping the terrorists. Now, what should the administration do to appropriately handle the situation that we see in most security operations and the preparation? Because once Abu Dujana and the other terrorist bodies handed over, we always see a big drama being created around the funeral time.
You know, I have been saying for a very long time, the primary problem in the valley now is not terrorism. The number of terrorists left there is just about 200. Despite all the desperate attempts at infiltration, they haven't been able to raise this level up very much, just recoup some losses inflicted by the security forces. The main problem is population control, crowd management. And for that, I'm afraid there is no option but to increase troop density. As an old timer, I have been saying this for a very long time. We have diluted the troop density under pressure from the PDP, the populist policies of the PDP, or the security forces presence is annoying the civilians. So you remove the security forces presence and you give them a free run to pelt stone, to grow opium, to do whatever they like. I mean, this can't be accepted. You know, because pandering to the population and pandering to the separatists is not the way you do it.
DGP SP Vaid, earlier he spoke to India Today and confirmed that the information specifically was of Abu Dujana. Of course, the security forces will once again reiterate and confirm it once the bodies are recovered. Pooja Shali also joins us from the national capital. Pooja, just tell our viewers a little bit more about Abu Dujana and, of course, the kind of terror acts he has been involved in the last 6 to 7 years that he was active in the valley. Pooja, can you hear me? Okay, we're trying to connect that line with Pooja. Shuja, if I can put that same question to you, you have been tracking Abu Dujana very closely. Of course, there have been times that Abu Dujana made those public appearances at the funeral of various terrorists, including that of Burhan Wani. He has given a slip to the security forces many times. Just tell our viewers about this man who is now being hailed as a big success for the security forces.
Well, Ankit, Abu Dujana, is a foreign national. He is believed to be operating in the valley for last, close to 5 years now. And his base was in South Kashmir. However, he used to move around a lot because of the fact that he was a divisional commander. He used to be operational in, various parts, including Central and North Kashmir. He has been, one of the masterminds of many attacks that have been launched on, security forces, including some of the famous attacks like the one in Udhampur. Even in that case, there was some sort of a link to Abu Dujana. His presence in various funerals of militants is recorded. After Burhan Wani, even in his funeral, Abu Dujana was believed to have made an appearance, even addressed people. He was, quite active in most parts of, the South Kashmir area. There were also reports in between that Abu Dujana was, in fact, recently there were intelligence inputs that he was being in touch with Al-Qaeda's, cell, which is trying to make inroads into the valley. But officially, he still has been with the lashkar-e-taiba and has been making sure that their operations are carried out in the valley. Of late, he had been degraded in terms of his rank in the outfit, and Abu Ismail, who is the man who was responsible for Amarnath attack that just happened just a couple of weeks back, had taken over. But that really didn't take his sheen away. He was still believed to be one of the most influential militant commanders of LET in the valley, somebody who had direct links with the top LET leadership from across the line of control. So if at all he is one of those people who has been killed, it is certainly going to be a huge success for the security forces. The police, even as we speak, not confirming his death. They are still saying that we are yet to recover the bodies, and once the bodies are recovered and identification is made, they will come out officially and confirm whether Abu Dujana has been killed. But apart from him, there is another militant who has also been killed, and he is believed to be a local resident in South Kashmir.
Pooja Shali is also joining us from the national capital. Pooja, this is a big success as far as the security forces are concerned. Now, with the recent successes against top militant commanders in Jammu and Kashmir, this of course is going to be detrimental not only for Lashkar-e-Taiba but for terrorism in general as far as the valley is concerned. All right, we seem to have some problem there with the line with Pooja. Shuja, if I can come back to you as far as the latest in this ongoing operation is concerned. Well, earlier the information was that the operation is still on. Can you confirm to us whether the firing has ended and what is the situation as far as the stone pelting goes?
Well, officially the entire operation is still on. There is, however, from local sources, there is no gunfire that has been heard. The house was brought down, immediately after the encounter had begun. And after the house was blasted, it is believed that both the militants who were inside have been killed. But like I was pointing out earlier, the police really doesn't want to confirm that yet. They're saying that we're still sanitizing, we're still trying to recover these bodies, and once the bodies are recovered, then only an official version, official word of their identities will be given out. The area is tense. There have been reports of some incidents of stone pelting immediately after the news of this encounter came in. CRPF and other paramilitary forces and the police are trying to dominate these areas and trying to contain the law and order situation if it arises. At this point of time, the top officials of J&K police are saying that they do have information that LET's two militants were there, and one of them was possibly Abu Dujana, and they are working on confirming the entire sequence of events to us. But like I was pointing out earlier, these are ongoing operations, and these agencies, particularly the police, does not want to sort of confirm things before they have completely ascertained the identities. and that's what we are also waiting for. So here are the facts. The operation is still on. It started at around 4 a.m. Gunfight began at around 8 a.m. It took barely an hour for the security forces to bring down that house, and even as we speak, the entire area is being sanitized.
Should stay on with me. We are taking a little break at this moment. We'll continue with this story. This is our top focus, a big success for the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. Abu Dujana, top Lashkar commander, has been gunned down, is what our sources are telling us, along with another terrorist. This is going to be a back-breaking sort of an effort as far as the lashkar-e-taiba is concerned. We'll get you more on this after a very short break. Stay tuned.